I find it interesting that Titania and Absorbing Man be cupcaking all the time. When it comes to Titania, when she's not messing with She-Hulk, she be having her own little adventures, even appearing in Immortal Hulk and being on this team known as Gamma Flight, even wearing a different uniform other than her standard purple and stuff. She has a life other than She-Hulk and spends her free time doing other things with other crews. Be careful not to wear a She-Hulk outfit or Titania might accidentally mistake you for her. Yeah, Titania's not all that bad though. She's not afraid of sitting down, having convos, just relaxing and having fun. It's easy to underestimate Titania, especially when these comics have temporary power-up type moments when characters that are usually not like powerhouse rangers become like universe buster type things. Like how she got blasted by Spider-Man, the energy blast, where Spider-Man was powered up more than ever before. When beings like the Thing have one shot knocked her out before, considering that she always fights She-Hulk. Of course, She-Hulk has got her fair share of knockouts on her. The Immortal Hulk, the Incredible Hulk in general, and all kind of stuff like this, but you still shouldn't underestimate her. Because everybody loses, right? She has her fair share of wins too, on top of her losses. Titania is one of those characters where she's not super popular, so there's going to be moments that don't necessarily make sense. This is one of those moments I would say doesn't necessarily make sense. If you're supposed to be a threat for She-Hulk, how does Spider-Man completely embarrass you like this? Not saying Spider-Man's weak or anything, but Spider-Man's not as strong as a character like She-Hulk. And she went night-night from a fall while from fighting Spider-Man, yet narratively speaking, She-Hulk herself stated Titania have strength similar to She-Hulk. She-Hulk in these sensational days, Spider-Man even admits that She-Hulk is stronger than him, and Spider-Man even hurt his hand punching She-Hulk. Another reason why it doesn't make sense is because even Spider-Man himself kind of implied it didn't make sense. He even goes as far as saying he never wants to run into Titania again. Queasy remembered how she almost pounded the She-Hulk to death with her bare hands. The writers do intend for her to be that strong. Spider-Man even said, I managed to beat her the last time we fought, but I always chalked that up to dang luck. He couldn't believe that he actually got a W on her either, so that lets you know. He says, I don't want to mix up with that living powerhouse like her ever again. Even Titania got like PTSD from the last time. She said, oh my gosh, it's Spider-Man. He's the only one who ever managed to flatten me. I don't want to dare fight him again. I'd only lose. You know, see, these Spider-Man not believing victory was legit, and then Titania having PTSD that she would lose again. You know, this is just a weird scenario. Saying that she mainly lost because of his speed and agility, not necessarily because he's physically strong as her. He had too much speed. She couldn't lay a hand on him. That was the real issue. Heck, even beings that are supposedly, ignore the word ton, but they're supposedly in Spider-Man's strength class, but she simply states she's in a higher strength class than that by a lot. So yeah, maybe the writers were smoking, who knows, but let's get it. Later on in this video, I'm going to talk about Titania's base form, majority of the video, but then she's going to have her own different, say it with me, temporary power-ups that I'm going to talk about later on. Now, you got her in her form she is majority of the time, which is her main state. And then you got her temporary power with the power gem and give her pretty much infinite strength. And then she got another temporary power form, Skern, Breaker of Men, temporary power with a special hammer. I'm going to go over later in this video. And she technically got the powers boosted by the hood, you know, but I can do that stuff later. Characters like Titania is a straightforward, strong, physical character. Her powers are pretty straightforward when it comes to her. She's strong as crap and durable as crap, and is a constant aggravation and nuisance to She-Hulk. I would say the best way to get an understanding of how strong she is based on the opponent she's supposed to fight all the time, which is She-Hulk. It gives you narrative and writer intent on where she's supposed to be when it comes to power levels. The reason why she became stronger is because Dr. Doom was interested in finding more accomplices. You know, Dr. Doom always wreaking havoc, right? And it's her real name. She agreed to serve Dr. Doom. In exchange for increased physical attributes, Doom subjected her to various radiation treatments. Among emerging, her frame had been augmented by several hundred pounds of muscle, granted her superhuman strength. She designed her costume herself and dubbed herself Titania. And yeah, you give you more information on how all this stuff started right here. It sucks that she gained all this strength because the same radiation that gave her this strength also gave her cancer and crap. Talk about an L, but yeah, she got better though. Her physique changed, as you can see here, thanks to the transformation. Gained at least a foot and a half taller. Everything you need to know about her story, Titania, is right here in this She-Hulk comic. Born prematurely, small, fragile, in need of far more attention than she was about to receive. In the years she failed to kind of grow at a better rate, her only refuge, because she was extra small, was fantasy type stuff to escape. About ugly ducklings that become beautiful swans later. You see how she grows extremely slow compared to everybody else growing up faster? You see what I mean? Wouldn't be an underdog story without bullying, right? You know, the standard peer pressure type stuff. The money she earned would go to her family, but she would still dream of herself. What it'd be like to be rich, famous, have people call out her name. Then she came across real life people that have transformed thanks to modern science and stuff to superheroic type of beings. She thought, since this stuff is happening more often than not, becoming modern day gods, why can't she get the same treatment and get some powers too? It's more often getting powers than winning these scratch-offs nowadays, right, to her. Then she saw a spider character in action and she was amazed by the strength and power. She would think about how she would like to do that type of stuff too. Fantasyland. even is going as far as pretending to be Spider-Woman. This is kind of a female trope, though. She was the center of attention and enjoyed it. I mean, what female doesn't like attention, right? But then tragedy has to strike where the entire town gets lifted up. It was during the Secret War where, heroes and villains would have to fight each other on Battle World, stuff like that. And her identity got exposed as Spider-Woman. She's not really Spider-Woman. Titania wanted the attention of being Spider-Woman. They seemed to be stranded. The entire city was in outer space until, of course, Dr. Doom pulls up. And that's when they had to swear their allegiance to Dr. Doom in exchange for more power, blah, 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 stuff I already said. Experimentation, because Doom is one of the smartest people in Marvel. And that's when she got a taste of the real power. And that's when the costumes and the She-Hulk rivalry and all that stuff with Absorbing Man, macking with Absorbing Man stuff happened, But how strong are we talking? The might of Titania should not be slept on. She's pretty freaking strong, like she can lift up Korg in this occasion and sling him into other beings like Weapon H as a weapon, can throw you very far distances, not even at full power lifts a piece of a building, showing she's still strong like this. Against big things, during a fight with Absorbing Man, she could pick up Absorbing Man and throw him like a football, velocity and strength-wise like that. Believe it or not, she was even in recent stuff like Immortal Hulk, like picking up all this BS to fight this giant monster and put stuff like this in his throat to help out. In one of her many fights with She-Hulk, she could not only throw her through multiple floors of buildings, she ends up throwing her from Brooklyn to New Jersey with her throwing power. That reminds me of the Hulk doing this in the show. I mean, it's not like She-Hulk is light and she threw her like miles. These War Dog beings, y'all just get completely tossed around, using one arm to carry a piece of rubble. And this being tries to pull up on her, she just says, get off of me. The thing, you get tossed into a machine, taking a punch from the thing, durability-wise, to show her resilience. She can lift up vehicles and stuff like that with ease, can destroy your whole bike by throwing this stuff real hard. She doesn't mind slamming a van on She-Hulk, more car throwing. Picks up this van and tosses it into a building like a football throw because of strength. Big bull crap like this she throws at Spider-Man and throws big boulders at Wolverine like this. In more recent-ish stuff, because she does get stronger as time goes by, they imply she's at least in the tier with characters like Korg when it comes to raw strength. Even in early days, she literally states out her mouth that she can lift 80-ton trailers, deadlifting. I mean, thanks to her being a constant threat for She-Hulk, She-Hulk even said it herself, that Titania's super strength is on par with hers, at least when she was in them sensational days. It makes sense narratively for these beings to be comparable to one another, but not necessarily forms like this. Titania probably ain't on that level. Just the sensational days type stuff. She even claimed that she's 10 times stronger than the web slinger, Spider-Man. The class system is like a pun at this point, but it can kind of give you an idea of what they mean. She's way above super soldier tiers. This little 15-ton class bullcrap. She says she's in the 85 range. Not to mention she's one of those characters, even though she's enhanced with science, that doesn't change the fact she likes to lift weights to get strong because of hard work and dedication. Has these weights weighing because she really be putting in that work. Yeah, sure, I don't take the ton class seriously, but at the same time, this does imply that she does work out to get stronger, because they say she was 85 here, but then she can increase her strength to the 100 range, which basically just means powerhouse range. Not to mention, look how she looks on the power grid. 6 out of 7 in strength is pretty insane. Having a slight advantage in her strength over her durability. So yeah, she does work out to get stronger. You can see how strong she is. She's always a threat for She-Hulk no matter what, to some degree. In newer stuff, she even tackled Immortal Hulk through a bulldozer. She even locked arms with Luke Cage, somebody that's extremely underrated when it comes to strength, and pushed him back that far. And if you're a machine man and you're fighting her, she'll just rip your head off. Her and She-Hulk's fights be so intense, you gotta be careful about the environment tilting over different vehicles and buses or something. I mean, she's a girl that would just tear cars apart. Here you can see her locking arms with Spider-Man. He's even giving it everything he's got. Solid metal beams she can just push. And uprooting trees is not as easy as you might think. She can do your standard Titanian things like going in cars and obliterating vehicles with her leg power. And Scar, son of Hulk, her punches can affect him to some degree, and even using agility to avoid some of his attacks. Strong enough to use stuff on the street as melee weapons against Scar, withstands blows from Scar. Characters like Absorbing Man even think she's the strongest woman in the world. Even in the recent comics, she's still strong enough to do stuff like this, obviously. Of course, always being a nuisance for She-Hulk, being able to match her strength to a certain degree, no matter which era we're talking about, slugfest style. You can even see her doing kicks to the gut, trading blows in a decently serious fight. You see blood. Also get an idea of their fighting ability, both of them. Like, her and She-Hulk's rivalry is so crazy. It's basically like, one could say, a Goku and Vegeta type rivalry. I mean, that's how often these two are fighting in comics. There was even times where she's gotten a fight with Spider-Man for 20 straight minutes. I would say her strength is probably a little bit better than her durability, but she punches Thor. Thor even hits her back after she sticks him like this. Her punches do just a black bolt. You're probably tired of me bringing up She-Hulk. Of course, her She-Hulk. Absorbing Man's little ball, she uses it to KO him for a second or two. Absorbing Man gets wrecked right here. Punches Tiger Shark. Hits Eric Masterson Thor. Another occasion of fighting Spiky the Thing. So her punches match up with her lifting raw power. The Thing is one of the most underrated characters of all time, so check out my videos about him. She punched Wonder Man. Oh, well, you know, another occasion of her fighting She-Hulk and damaging her. Hitting her so hard the environment breaks. It's implied she's physically above Wolverine by a lot. Obviously, his claws can still damage her severely, though. And, bro, she lifts, bro. Look at all this massiveness. She lifts up and chucks it. I mean, she's not Gamora or anything when it comes to fighting skills, but she's a pretty good fighter considering how good She-Hulk is trained and she can still compete with her over the years. When two characters are near equal in strength, it's going to come down to other things like fighting skill and stuff, right? She can just put her fingers in the brick like it ain't nothing, crack stone with her vice grip, ripping steering wheels from cars, elevator doors she can punch open if they're in the way, punches you in the stone walls, can finish you off depending on how hard she punches you into the wall itself. She's so strong to where even if she's shrunken real small, she can still harm She-Hulk tears. Yeah, eardrums getting messed up. Immortal Hulk stuff, this new abomination, she was causing dents in his body with her punching power. She's not a fan of walls. If she jumps from long falls, she can make her own little mini earthquake by landing. Plenty of occasions of fighting Absorbing Man. They're in comics together a lot and doing this to the fence. Hits a Thor. Even if you're super glued to the floor, she can punch you so hard to where you still lift up off of it. Anyway, she's not afraid to punch you out if you're a dragon man. Beings like Armadillo get backhand. Does all this BS by striking the ground, making her own little miniature earthquake. Punches through the wall like this as collateral. Breaks through steel doors. Her strength seems to be a little bit better than her durability because you don't need necessarily adamantium and stuff to pierce her skin. Titanium will do to pierce her skin. But if your attacks or bullets aren't titanium, she can shrug off bullets. Like how the bullets bounce off here. She's withstood and got in scuffles with beings like Invisible Woman and took attacks like this. Attacks that drive her to the ceiling. There's times when She-Hulk does get the advantage over her though. Don't want to seem like she don't get no wins over her. You can see big machinery breaking apart being slammed on her. There's implications she has some sort of heat resistance. Because there's been occasions where heat type of stuff was on her, but she wasn't like completely like disfigured or nothing from the massive heat. I mean, heck, she was shrunken and got eaten by a shark and she survived. Cyclops energy blasts bounce off of her. Stun guns are weak sauce to her durability. Ulysses claw sound-based attacks she's had to withstand before. Even being electrocuted in water, she recovered after this. She's one of those characters, maybe her bigger weakness would be her speed in general, because she does seem to have a lot of issues when it comes to combat speed. Tagging Spider-Man, but when it comes to other tier beings, like armed men, y'all ain't fast enough. Or even Deadpool, she pulls up on really quickly. Black Panther was in the middle. She reacted to him like that and threw him like that. So she's not slow. She's definitely at least in the super soldier range when it comes to speed and to dodge gunfire at the very least. And she's fast enough to catch Wasp mid-flight, so that takes skill. One can say this is a reaction and durability feat, how she caught Iron Fist punt. Remember this part I brought up earlier? Base form, temporary power with gem, temporary power with special hammer. Let's get it with these different power-ups she's had, different forms that Titania has had. Let's get it. Thanks to the champion of the universe, she basically got her very own cheat code holding a weapon of this magnitude. Stuff that would normally be a challenge for her, they're completely a joke to her now. Doc Samson gets hit. This is stuff she probably could do without the power gem. It's just severely amplified, lifting up all this BS. She-Hulk in one of her most better powered up Jupiter era state. She punches her with this power gem and She-Hulk's strength is nothing to her, even crumbling her hand and fingers because she's on another level of power. Breaks through force fields by Tony Stark. That could apparently keep out the Incredible Hulk. It's obvious she can level buildings with this kind of power. Ginormous pieces of BS like this. Look how small she is in comparison to this big crap. And can toss stuff like that with ease. Everything is severely amped up. Even attacks from She-Hulk doesn't even make her flinch. Can do crazy jumps like flying, blitzing She-Hulk this bad. Sleepy. She's so powered up in this temporary powered up state, it's not even a fair fight for multiple heroes fighting her. She's like fighting multiple, even Invisible Woman, Iron Man, Hercules and them getting tossed. Spider-Man about to die look like it's just not even fair. Now let's talk about this power up Skirn, Breaker of Men. Something else I also brought up earlier. A lot of powerhouses do this in their normal states, but in this powered up hammered breaker of men state, she smashed the ground to stop Quicksilvers from blitzing. Shieldings that usually will work, they don't work right now. One shot Sun Wukong. No, not this Sun Wukong, but the one in Marvel. Yeah, it comes in handy hitting the ground this hard and making a big shockwave. Aerial effect. Blast she can just ignore. Thanks to all her statistics being enhanced, she can withstand being hit by other hammers. The combined efforts of Iron Fist, War Machine all work together when she's like this. Elbow Rush by Fat Cobra. She seems to be fine. Has the ability to make her own portals. Trying to invade her thoughts will just knock you unconscious. She's on her Thor status because she can fly. Can create an explosion from her hammer. One could say she can turn it up a notch and turn it up to a bigger scale of raw power she can generate on some citywide type stuff when clashing. And then you got the power up where she was boosted by this being known as the Hood. Yeah, so here you go. A group of Asgardian warriors, she gives them the business when she's powered up like this. She does attacks so hard that it does this to buildings. Cracking open buildings is something she can do in her base. Luke Cage and Iron Fist, please get out of my way. Why don't you? Different type of special weapons. I'm just going to stand here and act like they're not even shooting at me. Just mess up clothes. Just like these special weapons try to use on against her, she's good afterwards. Senses seem to be better, like she can sense the Hood standing behind her when he's invisible. Yeah, but if we're being honest, she don't need these temporary powers to be a threat. I would say if there was a grid, this is how she would go in her base state versus the different tanks in Marvel. Being a little bit below the thing, but still can give them some issues. But not being on the level with Savage She-Hulk, like her buffed up, overpowered state. But she's more in the ballpark of She-Hulk in her sensational days, which is still ridiculously strong no matter what when it comes to narrative lore and writer intent. She does have a few embarrassing showings, but the overall consensus of her writer intent and narrative are pretty consistent. What the most writers would agree that she has to be in that sensational days of strength. But at the end of the day, what do you guys think? Do you like Titania? Do you think she's a beast? She's pretty freaking strong, but I'll see you guys later. Respect her. But thanks, guys, for the donations, guys. Respect Titania no matter what. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.